morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the day 3 of AV-ICN conference and seminar. Our session of the day, Immersive Futures, How AV Technology is Redefining Engagement.
Thank you, Ritika. And I want to especially thank the panelists for joining us. They traveled across the country to be with us for this session, which is a recorded session. And we want to explore the redefinement of AV engagement and what are the new trends and technologies in that. And of course, as subjective human beings, we all are impacted with AV. We see screens everywhere. We see them in the QSR, we see them in the airport, and we see them in all the clubs, lounges, bars, and in the corporate sector, and even in the hospital. And we know AV is all about the screen. And we are all familiar with mapping, 3D mapping. It implies that AV engagement is going to be redefined. And as it insinuates that maybe the redefinement is in immersive experiences in the future. So my first question will be to Sabhlok. And what I want him to help us with is in terms of the AV engagement for the audience, in terms of the AV engagement, what are the new trends that are employed for an AV experiential experience? What are those new trends and new technologies that are on his table when he designs an AV experiential project, whether it's for government tourism or whether it is for private corporate sector maybe, or if there is any other such project where the experiential factor is primary and major, and what are the technologies and technological trends that are on his table as a designer, as an AV designer of AV experience. Over to you, Sabhlok.
Hey. So yeah, very interesting question. And as the world has moved on, where they saw a simple screen and they got excited. Today, to engage with people is becoming more and more and more difficult, because one thing what has happened with the advent of the mobile phone, with Instagram Reels, with all this, people consume content very differently.
Right.
And the consumption is become quick. The consumption has to immerse you, attract you, for you to be engaged for a longer time. You may spend millions of dollars on all the technology stuff, be it LED, be it projectors, be it servers, be it interactive systems, X, Y, Z. But at the end of the day, if you do not have the right quality of content, which is impactful, which is gainful, which is knowledge-based, which is interactive, which also reacts to you, which also gives you a sense of fulfillment, which raises your empathy level, raises your emotions. All these words today are becoming, and they are not just glorified words. The advent also, what is happening in today's world is, like there's a project we are doing right now, where the last 8 months we have only spent on planning, storyline, ideation, what will people consume, how will they consume, how will they react, and everything. And now we have put the technology layer on it. There's a big marked difference in government projects vis-a-vis people who really want to create experiences. Government projects, a tender comes out, this supply, this supply, this supply, this supply, this is the content, this is the storyline, you do it. And then you are not bothered about how the person is consuming the content, how this is happening. For us who are more working towards the private sector, like when we are designing corporate museums or corporate experience centers, or we are designing interactive solutions, or we are designing all that, the level of this part of the story has gone big difference because they have realized that people will not pay attention. We are doing some real estate projects, we are doing something else where we are immersing people into dynamic audio. So it's not only about AV, it's not only about video, it's also audio, it's also touch, it's also like we are doing something right now where we are using scent, you know.
What is it?
Scent. Like you walk in, there is a flavor, there's a scent, which is
Scent.
which is immersing you into the content you're showing.
I see.
It's a stimulant. So today, when I stimulate the senses vis-a-vis all the creativity and the technology bit, so the collaboration between technologists, between embedded engineers, between storytellers, between creative field, content creators, this is getting to be a very merged setup, and that is the future, at least according to me. I have
Right.
been doing this for some time and I'm feeling very excited about it even more and more.
Right, right. Thank you. So just to recap, what Sabhlok is telling us is that at the end of the day, whatever technologies you may or might not use for immersive AV experience or a new redefined AV engagement, the story never changes. The story has to be good. The content has to be good. And the content is all powerful in terms of engaging the audience. So that is true for a movie, and that is true now for any AV audiovisual, so to speak, that is produced. And he has brought in a new element of engaging the audience with a, subjectively with the power of scent. And I suppose there would be then some electronic, software-driven product which releases the scent according to the story. And maybe, if I'm not mistaken, is that...
Yeah, that is there, but you know, there are a couple of other factors, like for example, immersive audio.
Right, of course.
Audio
That-
which engages you from an... So what we try to do, the main word is play on emotions. Emotions and senses. So when you
Right.
play on emotions and senses, you
Right.
achieve a lot more than just what technology can achieve.
Right,
So
right,
that
right.
is the most important thing.
Amazing. So it is about the storyline and the ideation and the content, and that is all powerful. And we have with us Mr. Narendra Naidu, who has done a lot of AV for a lot of government projects, for a lot of projects where he has done mostly 3D mapping. And I am quite confident he has also focused on the storyline of the monument or the location where the mapping is being done, and involved that into his delivery of the AV engagement, whether there is music, sound, and of course 3D mapping. All that is there. Mr. Naidu, can you corroborate? How do you go about a project for mostly all government tourism projects? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chopra ji, and thank you, Vijay, with the thought process. I believe that, government is a typical entity to do the execution on the large scale. Okay, big ticket project has been issued from the government, and nowadays, government has taken initiative. Almost every state is having big museum. We start with the Gujarat. I believe, the content is definitely, this year 50 year celebration for the Sholay movie. Okay, now Sholay movie, even for the kid or for the elder person like us, you will remember so many dialogue, whether it is in the small theater, it is in the big 70 cinema scope or OTT. So that is the power of the content, definitely, yes. But before you conceive any project, you have to keep three things in the mind. First, it should be out of the box. Okay. Number two, never done before. Okay. Number three, the center idea to see that your audience move around the project. I will take you an example. I think we have installed a museum, I think 2019. There was a old ruined, heritage school called Alfred High School in Rajkot. And it was a heritage monument. The school was stopped and no one was going. And the task been given to restore that building, Alfred High School, and it has been converted, all 40 classrooms, into the immersive museum, almost 5-6 years ago. We have planned, the content before the script, storyboard and everything, but first is the authenticity of the content. So we have to ask, Gandhi Museum people, Navjivan, to come and check the authenticity about the content and script writing, number one. Now, in entire museum of journey of Gandhiji, right from the birth to the death, one room we have created for children, and that was Talk with Bapu. Okay, children have come to that particular room, and there are 10 questions were listed, pre-programmed, and out of which one question been asked by any child, and Bapu 3D hologram will answer that question. Now see the impact, when you see the most powerful marketing attractive audience is the children. So they lead to the things. Number two, I'll take an example, 2017, we created one more museum at Valsad for ex-Prime Minister Morarji Desai. At that point in time, technology were not grown, but we made, gesture-based cartoon kind of thing for, again, children, for the Morarji Desai. How is grown? So when you shake the hand, okay, Morarji Desai, grow and shake down, it goes. So that was a fun. But it was the center point of thing. Latest, we have done some dinosaur museum also where we created, immersive sound, immersive experience. Now, those things are involved with many technology. Now, you talk about, AR, VR, MR, XR, okay. These are the technology we are governing the entire show. Apart from content, you have to focus on technology and very crucial, the integration of the technology. The key factor depending on the experience, the very rich experience of the implementer, system integrator. He should be sound enough, have the proper knowledge, and that can create wow factor.
Wonderful, wonderful, Mr. Naidu. So just to recap, what Mr. Naidu has given us his insight of all the projects that he has been executing, that the experiential factor and the AV engagement, the redefining, which he has done already, is in terms of planning the AV experience so that the audience, the target audience, they actually move around the entire experience, whether it's a museum or whether it's a religious context. So that is one idea. Around the content, he makes sure that they're moving around. But as he rightly said, new technologies are there and they have to be used in the right place. For example, in a museum. So you cannot use AR, VR, XR, MR anywhere, but yes, you can use it in a museum. So you are redefining AV experiences. You are using all the latest technologies in a museum. Now he has used holography. An actual holography of the person is emerging in the AV space that he has created. And it is engaging interactively with the audience, the holographic image. So he has just given us an example of the holographic use where the subjective emotion of a child is being answered with holographic technology. So there's holography which is being used, there is AR, VR which is being used in the museums, and of course there is mapping to whichever extent it gives you immersive experience. And there is immersive audio, and immersive audio is now everywhere. So all the major brands are coming out with their immersive audio solutions, and we know what immersive audio is. But when I was coming in to moderate this session, I said, yes, we all know about immersive audio, but what about immersive video? How do we do the immersive video? Does the 3D mapping give us an immersive video experience? So we have Mr. Sabharwal of Tricolor, who does that. Apparently, I've heard that the visuals landscape that he creates on different screens at stage shows gives you, if I might say so, a near immersive experience. But what I want to ask Mr. Sabharwal also, how close has he got to using which technology to give a complete immersive visual experience to the audience. Mr. Sabharwal, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chopra. I think what Mr. Sabhlok said made a lot of sense. That, you know, immersion is not just video and audio, it's a lot more things. And it could be anything actually, like he talked of the scent. And just to add to that, I will take you through the genesis of how we have arrived at immersion. There was a time when you read books. So you created the story in your mind. Then came the single screen era, where you were told the story. Then came IMAX and other things in which you were semi-surrounded by it. Now has come immersion in which you are in the story. So commodification, I mean, we've lived an era of commodification for almost 30, 40 years, at least in India. So commodification is getting over, and experiential is becoming the commodity. That's what people will go for, and hence retail, education, entertainment, all of it is going to have experiential as the key factor for sale, for engagement, for anything that you can imagine, for the economy to churn actually. So it is going to encapture you from so many sides is what I think. And we are not, I mean, when you're saying that what I have done, I have not even begun. I mean, you know, what we do at monuments and all, I try to, like for the Gwalior Fort, when we did projection, it's a very interesting case study because they decided that this is the seating area, and because, I mean, in India, when you set out to do something like this, especially for the government, there are many, many stakeholders. So the Archaeological Survey of India said that come what may, you have to, you know, kind of recap the show and upgrade it, sitting where they were seeing the light show. So there was a difference of almost 30 meters between the two walls of the fort, which looked similar at one point. But there was no way that the audience sitting there would have any kind of immersion. So we decided that, all right, how to kind of overcome this, we projected on the ground. So when you are there, the ground, the background, and then another layer, so it becomes a multi-layered proscenium. And that's how we created the immersion. But to tell you honestly, yeah, there are things happening which are much better than what they were before, but I don't think we've even started to what is possible.
Right, right. So, Mr. Sabharwal, just coming back to my question once more, what technologies you have used in visual display that give a near immersive effect?
So I think projection mapping is one.
Right.
LEDs are another. Holograms are, you know, the next thing. Holograms, like
Holograms,
we use,
yeah, holograms. Yeah.
like I'll give you an example of cellular jail. So we were asked to, you know, upgrade the experience in cellular jail. Now, cellular jail was not exactly meant for projection mapping ever.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you know, it is end of the day a jail, and that too conical. So one had to be very imaginative about how to go about creating that experience where people feel that what the story is and what is being talked about, the torture, the murder of Lord Mayo, you know, all of that, it comes alive.
Right.
So, I mean, we did use projection mapping, but very, very strategically.
Right, that's...
We placed holograms. In fact, we use projection mapping on a tree. So they say that the name Andaman comes from Handuman. So I use projection on the tree in which the monkeys are jumping. And when
Right.
it comes off suddenly, people
Amazing.
are startled as to, you know what. So it's more than the technology, I think it's the creative deployment of technology
Right, right, right.
which matters a whole lot in creating.
Agreed.
You know, that's
So, yeah, just to recap, and that's a very good moment which Mr. Sabharwal has explained, that one solution they took to give an impact of the walls closing in or the walls being on either side was to do the projection mapping on the ground. So you have to use your imagination. If you're redefining the AV space, you're using traditional tools like projection mapping, you have to redefine it with your own ingenuity. So he did projection on the ground, he did projection on a tree, but that is to get the effect of immersive experience to give the audience. So it is on-site, on-ground, literally, where the designer has to use his own imagination to give the target audience experience, immersive experience. Now, for example, in the Dinosaur Museum, there Mr. Naidu used immersive sound. And much before now it's become very popular. But so naturally, if you ever visited a dinosaur museum and you're coming close to the dinosaur which is being made out over there, automatically triggers the sound of the dinosaur used to make. And that has to be very natural, and it has to be immersive. You have to use all the audio technology you can over there. And then, of course, the dinosaurs there, then you have to use mapping maybe at the back. So AV experience in the future is going to be very interactive, very immersive. All the visual techniques are going to be used. And as far as I can visualize that the new technologies, as the objective of this session is to bring to the audience, is what we have come across is a lot in holography, something to do with scent, and something to do with ingenuity. And the storyline must be all powerful. Never forget that while you start using technology. Don't go off the track from the starting point. The germ is the story and the content. Be honest to that. So, of course, these are the facts that we are coming to understand from this session. And I'll ask Pratik now. He's the man who deploys a lot of these technologies for a lot of projects when they ask him to deploy the design which has been done. And I would like to ask him, what's his experience with redefining the AV space with whatever tools he has. Yeah, Pratik, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for the question. It's a great honor to share this stage with all the big names of the industry.
Yeah, good one.
We were just discussing that Naidu sir's experience is more than my age, actually, in the industry. So, immersive AV is nothing new, right? It was already there. We had VR headsets. The only difference now is that you can experience it with other people. When you should do with VR headset, you could not experience other people. And before immersive was just in video experience. Now, as Vijay sir said, that you have multi-dimensions in that experience. You can do audio, video, lighting, scent. So all those things, make a big difference when you enter a space. Storyline is very, very important in this. Technology is always a secondary part of any installation. The big challenge I feel in these, architecturally we face a lot of challenges in these installations, especially with height. Everywhere we go, especially for covering the floor, we have this problem with 3 meters of height or 4 meters of height, and then the number of projectors increase, and the clients say, "Oh, there's no budget." So this is always a big problem for us. But now with as technologies coming up, new stuff is coming up, so new lenses are coming up, so it's becoming much easier for us to do such installations.
Wonderful. So from Pratik, we got a new insight about the shared experience. It's not only about having a new experience, experiential AV, immersive AV, and you have redefining the AV experience. It's about the shared experience. It's okay if you have all these experiences alone, but that's not the key. So what he's trying to say is that technologies are trying to deliver the shared experience. So 5 or 6 people can experience the same thing. So that's a wonderful insight. And on a very practical level, he's given us insight on the fact that the new technologies and lenses and the way of projection is done and the way the projection systems does the mapping, they are improving tremendously for them to overcome the earlier hurdles they had in terms of height and width and all. So you may design a wonderful AV experience and then realize it cannot be deployed because there is a problem, logistical problem on site. So on-site verification, on-site corroboration of your AV design, that it can be deployed where you are trying to deploy it, what are the actual ground realities, those are very important then, and to take into your design element when you design a new, redefine the AV experience. So there are, as Pratik said, the things are changing rapidly. All the new products are overcoming hurdles of height and space and all that, you know. So all of that is happening with projection systems. And of course, what one can do at the end of the day with a screen, whether it is LED, whether it is any other technology, the new technologies are coming in, of course, with the screen also. There's micro LED, there is laser LED, and the LED display can be fantastic. But I cannot imagine a near immersive experience unless you come very close to the LED. And even then, the LED is single dimension. So how will you get an immersive experience from the LED? Unless the content on the LED is such that it is trying to give you a near experience. Can you corroborate, Sabharwal ji, about this point which I am trying to make, if you are listening?
Yes, I am. Yes. So, yes, content becomes really important in any scenario that you're talking about.
But I'm talking now about the technology of the LEDs and the displays, the screens.
Understood.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So, but even in the technology of LEDs, like I've seen media facades being done with LED, and there is a case in point, I'm forgetting the name of the building in New York, but the way they have played with it, they have created temples of, I think, Vietnam and Egypt and other places. I don't know, all kinds of things that they've created on a very new-looking glass facade. So yes, you can deploy LED anywhere, but you can either play an Apple ad or you can create an entire transforming experience which is called LED mapping.
Oh, there is something known as LED mapping.
Yeah, there is.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's
so it's basically the same concept as projection mapping. However, you are not illuminating the building with projection. You are covering it with LED, and you are using that facade to basically transcend the way people are used to seeing that building. So you're basically playing with people's minds.
Right. That's what we are talking about, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're able to do that, if you're able to create and change the context in which the people are used to perceiving it, then you have succeeded in using LED as a mapping tool.
Right. So we've learned something now new, one more factor, that is LED mapping. And there was a point which came to my mind. Yes, anamorphic. How can anamorphic give us an immersive experience?
Yeah. So anamorphic.
I'm just imagining that if you have LEDs all around the room and all of them are playing anamorphic, do you think we could scare somebody in the room?
No. So anamorphic has I hate to say this, but anamorphic has a limitation of placement.
Right.
So till the time it is not a cube,
right,
you will not experience anamorphic.
Right.
So immersive, like I said, can be achieved many ways. Anamorphic has become very, very alluring and popular because it can give you the illusion that the subject is coming out of the screen.
Yes.
So
yes.
that is why it's popular.
Yeah.
And like I said, that people want to have experiences. So it's an experience that a hand comes out or a shoe comes out.
Right,
or
exactly,
like,
exactly.
So that's anamorphic. So
Right.
again, its placement is the same. It's basically you're creating an L-shaped LED. However, it's the content that you're creating for it is
Right.
what is giving you the goosebumps.
Right. 1 minute, he wants to say something, yeah.
Well, I definitely would like to give a great example of immersive LED screen.
Right.
Again, I'm taking you back 2013. There are, 9 bridges at Ahmedabad crossing Sabarmati River. And most of the time, there are number of suicidal act used to take place. Okay, after making the riverfront. So commissioner had called us to say that something you have to prepare. Not just stopping that, but some immersive things. So we had designed, unfortunately project did not happen, but I would definitely like to share that. We have designed the pixel LED on both the side of the bridge. And that bridge, facing from the riverfront. So that will act as a screen, that will act as a protection to the people who don't, jump from that.
Right.
And the content, now here is the immersive. The content is such, it is fed, item number 1 to 10. Like olden days, there was a telegram. Number 1, happy birthday. Number 2, happy anniversary. So that was designed, programmed, fed in the mobile app, and you can book your slot from the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation website to entertain you and your family. How? For example, 7 o'clock, 7:00. Okay, so 7:05. 5 minutes you have. You go with your friends and family to the riverfront, and your name will appear. Happy birthday to Mr. Vikram. Happy birthday to Mr. Sabharwal. Okay, particular that time. You just imagine. Okay, large scale that has come. And that's called the, very big yourself involving an immersive, unexpected things happening on a common platform.
Right.
So this was planned, but sometimes government, you plan many things, it doesn't happen. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So wonderful. So Mr. Naidu has given us a very brilliant idea. We all love to see the music. When the music is played, whether and the hero and heroine are not in India, they are in Switzerland, or they are in some place where the scenery is nice, and we want to always escape from our landscape, which we don't find appealing. And so he has given us a brilliant idea that put so many LEDs, just change the whole landscape. Make it look like Switzerland, nice meadows, green grass, and not the real landscape which you have with shrubs and cows in it, and So that is really, truly immersive AV engagement, where a city has enough money to change the entire landscape of a particular area. So you could cover a whole slum with a lovely meadow in Kashmir, or with a river flowing or something like that. Of course, that level of immersive screen experiential we have experienced here and there, in hotels and some of the nightclubs and all that. And you have a real you have a real sort of aquarium where you have real fishes in it with water, or you just have a large screen giving you the same effect with immersive sound and whatever. So there is a lot that is already available, and we've recapped a lot of the technologies that are there apart from holography and intelligent projection mapping, intelligent use of the anamorphic, intelligent use of the screens to create an environment of immersive experience. And also the new technologies that are not really already here, but which are going to come in terms of scent. And as Pratik said, that all of this is fine. First, get your logistics proper. Find out if it's going to work where you want it to work. And then you have a good experiential AV engagement of the future. So is there I think Sabhlok wants to make a point, yeah.
So I want to make a couple of points here in terms of I've been hearing everybody. One very important word which Pratik got up was obviously shared. Okay, because
Shared experience,
okay,
yeah.
because if it is immersive, it cannot be individualistic. Then you wear a VR headset and sit in one corner
Right.
and consume it. All these technologies, AR, VR, MR, XR, these have all died natural deaths. They're basically not even there in anybody's mind when you're getting the new age work. These are gone.
Right.
Because they are very individualistic, they are very this. No one is going to spend crores of rupees on individual experiences, right? So the biggest thing which is happening now is, which I have used your platform of Palm to showcase a lot of that over the years. You know, when we used to have the booth, Pratik and me used to create solutions. And
Yeah,
we did-
yeah, mapping solutions.
not only mapping, we had 3D solutions, we had, immersive other solutions. We had a lot of stuff. In fact, 2 years back, we still had the India immersive, actually the, parts of India where we did all the mapping and all.
Right.
So what I'm trying to tell you is today, the number one thing is something called convergence of technology, where you are using multi-technology which converges together to create magic. So obviously you have softwares which talk to multi-technology, create multiple scenarios and do that, and they create magic. Second thing is again coming to the point of how do you synthesize talent, how do you synthesize technologies to start living above. Today, minute you leave India, like for example, one of the building examples he said, just look at Burj Khalifa. In the night, it transforms. When it wants to become an LED screen, it is the world's biggest LED screen. May not have the best pixel in the world, but it is awe-inspiring. Something which is 1,000 meters high, it just changes form. It gives you your messaging, it gives you anything. That is brilliant. I mean, you can see it all around Dubai, whatever you want to see. I know the building he's talking about in New York, which has used the LED stickers on the windows to transform. The point is there is so much happening. So much is available today. The problem which I am seeing into the future is actually great talent in our country. Let me talk about our country, of trying to utilize multi-technology, convergence of technology, talent of multiple people, like right from architects to content creators to visual communicators to designers to everybody to converge, build something of madness. Like, I was just in Abu Dhabi, maybe I think 3-4 days back, and the new Team Labs has opened there. You have to go and see that. They've used immersive technologies with water, where you put your jeans up to here and you're wading through water. One very important aspect which we've not spoken about, and it's not part of the AV world actually, but I would like to speak about it, is lighting. You can create brilliance with a combination of AV and lighting. So that is one thing. The other thing I want to talk about is, today you can't just have one LED screen and finish. Today we are using mirrors. We are using combination of mirrors and other things to create infinity. So infinity as a word becomes a very big word in immersive experiences.
Brilliant.
So these are the things which are now embedded into our minds in terms of when someone comes to us to create, it is not my job. Half the time I'm talking to Pratik, half the time I'm talking to somebody else, trying to figure out, because Pratik is my go-to technologist. I don't enter into it anymore. My job is ideation, planning. Yes, I know technology, but for everything, Pratik comes and works with me, and we've been collaborating on so many projects.
Right.
Like even when I just did the India Pavilion for Osaka 2025, I was the technologist there. I created that complete experience there from the technology point of view. It was very, very simple. There was no, but only thing they wanted was multiple redundancies, multiple this, multiple that, content network delivery, how will each zone converge, how will each zone work. It was not immersive experience, nothing, but it's still consumption of content in a very nice way. And
Right,
that was in
consumption of
combination with
content,
design.
yeah.
So yeah, these are the few pointers I wanted to make.
Right. So Sabhlok has brought some more things on the table. That is mirrors and lighting. When you are thinking of redefining AV engagement, you are thinking of simplistically the screen, and then you're thinking of projection, and then you're thinking of immersive sound, and then now think of lighting, think of mirrors, think of holography, and think of all those kinds of new solutions that are incorporated into a engaging AV experience for the future. So there's a lot of magic to be done, lot of things, a lot of technologies to be used. And as Sabhlok said, that think IT. You may think of all the solutions and you'll have all the software and the metadata and you'll have all the programs and you'll have all the files. But think IT. Think of how convergence can take place of all your IT files and everything so that it can simultaneously be played anywhere, anytime, anyhow. And all of those things happen. And we've got certain parameters like, that it should be a shared experience. That's another factor that we've understood from this session. And Sabhlok has his personal viewpoint in regard to the future being shared and not alone experience through the VR headset. But evidently, Meta doesn't believe that is the future. They believe that it is going to be more and more as we go into the future. It will be a personalized experience. So, you could have the scent coming out of your glasses from your, things like that. And it depends where the future takes us and how alone we are or how shared experience we have. And that depends on the design. But this session is not doing justice unless we don't give credit to the government. The government of India has spent millions upon millions of dollars on AV. And I don't know how much of that money is with Mr. Naidu right now, but he has done most of the projects. He has done most of the projects, and he will stand testimony to the fact that there are so many projects the government is sanctioning. And they're sanctioning big money for all the monuments, all the temples, all the bridges, all the rivers, and all the mountains. They are spending money hand over fist, like more than a developed country. Not a single developed country is spending so much money on AV as India is right now here. Every state government is spending money, and statues are coming up, and money is being spent on AV very, very generously. And who's getting all the jobs? Our visitors of AV-ICN, I mean, the consultants are getting the jobs, the integrators are getting the jobs. Lot of people are getting careers in AV because of the money the government is spending, and projects are being executed. Of course, there is a corporate sector. There is the corporate sector. They are also spending money, and that is for profit. And the government is spending it out of a higher level of thinking, and they are fully synced in with our AV economy, and that's a great thing. And yeah, so yeah.
I have one more small point to make.
Yeah.
When you said government,
Yeah, we must
I'll
get it
give
on,
you
on
a case,
record.
I'll give you a case study where it was not in India, obviously. So in a suburb near Toronto, it was very rundown, homeless people, crime, prostitution, stuff like that was going. And the government was at its wit's end that what do we do to, because it's prime real estate, but
Yeah,
completely run down.
Yeah.
So what they did was, they did a simple thing of creating projection mapping in the night. And people use that to come and see, and it was free. So everybody from Toronto kept on coming to see the projection mapping. So while they are coming to see, obviously you will sell them food, you will sell them this,
Right.
something. So restaurants started opening up, other things opened up, this became, shops opened, everything went on. Homeless were driven out, the prostitution disappeared, the drugs went away, everything went away, real estate prices went up. And now it became one of the prime suburbs of Toronto by just doing AV integration.
That's an amazing story. So
And,
apart from changing the Indian landscape with the LEDs, now they save the city with screens in Toronto. That's amazing. That's amazing good story. And it's true. It's fact. I mean, it makes sense. You
Mr.
know?
Chopra, I want to come in here. I wanted to refrain from commenting on the government because they happen to be my biggest client. But now that he started, I will join the bandwagon.
Yeah, please. Why not? This is a honest session.
So their seems to be a lack of imagination, huge one in this country. That is a very imaginative addressal of a problem. We tend to be, and I say we tend to be more pedantic in our projects to either propagate politics or propagate. There are very few genuine tourism projects in this country which actually see or which actually become, economy churners. So
Right. Well, that's a good point. The point is that the Indian intelligence here is very, very intelligent. And we have been brought up in the Oxbridge mold. So we try and be not only intelligent, but we try and be, always on the good side. Politics is, of course, a dirty word, but it's not wrong to do projects. If money is being spent on AV, we are happy campers. As long as they're spending it on AV, and engineers are being employed, and, projects are being fulfilled, somewhere down the line, it has an altruistic purpose. I'm very confident all the projects have an altruistic purpose, whether it is on Gandhi or whether it is on the cellular jail or whether it is on a temple. Somewhere it will have a beneficial impact for the AV economy. And we've got the panelists giving us so much knowledge in such a quick time today. This session is recorded. It will soon appear in the magazine. You all can always refer to it. And it's wonderful because you all, when you do the next project, you all will have all these ideas on your paper, how to make it better and better, And so I'm sure some of them, Sabhlok, disclosing the fact that he uses mirrors, he uses lighting, he uses IT, and Mr. Naidu gave us examples of how he has executed various projects in Gujarat using AV technology. And we've heard a lot. 1 minute. Sabhlok? Pratik wants to say something, yeah?
So, we did an installation in Jyoti Sir, which is near Kurukshetra. This was in 2019. So, we made Jyoti Sir basically where before Mahabharata started, Krishna ji gave Gita's Updesh to Arjun. So, in 2019, when we went there was just one temple over there, nothing else. Like even if you want to have tea, you have to travel 5 kilometers away. Now, after 5 years, you have a restaurant, you have hotel, you have like a food court over there as well. So there's night tourism. People don't know about Jyoti Sir. So one show actually, now they're making
amazing transformation
so it's
again.
not just like Toronto, also in India, government is doing this.
Yeah. Wow. It's happening. So AV is the new mantra for salvation. And we are all into it, of course. And this session has given us a lot of information. I think we've had a good session. Is there anything more the panelists want to disclose?
I think the concluding part could be, we've talked of what is happening now, but we should always talk about what is the future because, it's a redefining engagement. And the future, I think, is that I think I conveyed that, you are now the participant in the story. What will happen next is that the participant would want to control the story.
Wow.
So that is the next part.
Right.
And you will see in the coming years, there's still time to it, but you will see in the coming years more and more control built in where an audience would choose. Because, I heard of a film which is already there now, that it plays and it stops and gives you 2 choices. 3. Yeah, all right. 3 choices. And out of the 3, whichever that you choose then takes you onto a different tangent.
Yeah. The story goes according to your choice.
And which is what is going to happen in Immersive as well.
Right.
You are wanting to have more and more control and customize your experience.
Great.
So that is where I think...
Yeah, Sabhlok wants to say
It's
something.
customized for sure, but it's also shared. The point is you can share it with people once you are in the immersive space.
Right.
So that is where, you see, again, it's all about interactivity and reactivity. So
Right.
when you interact, you need a reaction back, right?
Right.
So that's when the things start getting, so let's use the right word, intelligence. And I want to make one more point, which we have completely missed out in this,
Okay.
is the advent of artificial intelligence in AV experiences. Okay, we've already started building it. We are already doing, like as he said about buildings changing form, using LEDs and all. We are doing a lot of digital art in office buildings, in other places, and all this digital art is all AI generated. Everything. There is no human form. We are even using mechanicals, where actually forms are changing and projection is changing to the forms. We are getting LED down with form changing LEDs, which are controlled by AI and emotions. It can detect the weather and change as per weather. It can detect as per that. So there is all massless forms which are being doing that. So there is huge advent of AI, which is the influx is going to go crazier and crazier. That's when you said IT systems. It's not only IT systems, it's also all the artificial intelligence systems which are going to integrate into AV.
Right.
Which we have not even, we are at the tip, not even started.
Right. Yeah. So just to recap and to crystallize that point, it's like you have a lot of screens at the reception in your office, and so if it distinguishes through AI that the weather has changed and it's cloudy outside, and it will decide to show some other screen. And if it's raining outside, it will change the screen. So you have, of course, AI driving the content, driving the visual, and that to what extent that makes it immersive or that interactive and reactive. So of course, the communication through the broadband and through internet of the AI data sets. So of course, that will impact the visual and the content. There was something Mr. Naidu wanted to say actually. You wanted to say something? You're done? Okay. So I think, how was the session? Are we all satisfied? Pratik, one more? Yeah, please.
We have not discussed about the interactive part in immersive rooms. Like, we're just discussing what we see, but interactive is also a part of an immersive room.
Right.
So we did one installation where we had put cameras, facial cameras. So when you enter a room, it shows a city, and if you keep frowning or getting angry, the city starts burning, basically. And when you start smiling, there are trees growing up, the greenery happening, the weather improves.
My God.
So this was also one more dimension which we never spoke about.
Right. So the AI and the capture through the cameras is integrated to create further content. And that's as on the fly. That's amazing. That's a fantastic new input we have. And I'm sure everybody in the audience can be a AV consultant now, at least for the engagement part of it, AV engagement. Lovely. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you.